I've learned recently is that theme teams seem to be the craze right now. Everybody seem to be getting theme teams, and at first I wasn't too big on it. I was like, I probably have one of the top teams on the game. Actually, I have to have one of the best teams on the game. Was my thought process, was because I was getting every top card that was coming out. Like every card that came out, I had to have it. Well, I ran across a team that had these sixes with his not a theme team. And I'm like, where from? And so I started to have a conversation with him, and he told me that, hey, um, I have a lot of players that are 49ers theme team. And so that's how he did it. And I started to think, okay, am I maximizing my player potential with a God squad, or should I switch over to a theme team? One of the things that it made me do was really look into it and do a little research, and I did the research so you don't have to. So I'm going to go through the team and show you, after going from a God squad, now having a theme team, which one is best, which one I prefer, which one I don't prefer, and for various reasons. Check it out. Um, I went with a Ravens theme team. Now I just didn't go with the let's go with all Ravens players and see exactly who their starters are and just automatically plug them in. I'm still trying to win games, especially in weekend league. So one of the things that I have a tendency to do is, if the players aren't upgrading me, or if they are not comparable to the player ahead of them, I didn't even start them. And another thing that I did was I made sure that all second stringers are Ravens players. All second stringers are Ravens players. I could only get it to a 45 out of 50. Um, that 50 out of 50 was going to be tough. That was going to mean, let's just be honest, Ravens don't have the best receivers right now. So that meant I was going to have to drop some receivers. Meant I was going to have to probably take Ronnie Stanley and start him over Walter Jones. That's a 6 overall difference. I just didn't want to do that to the team I was producing. So I have a lot of great players that are just in my lineup box, and I'll take you to that later on. But let's take a look at this team. I had to go back and get Lamar Jackson. I've had him, got rid of him. Now I have him again. He's the starting quarterback. And then Mutt, we don't play with injuries, so that's why it was safe for me to go ahead and do all of my second stringers as Ravens players. I do have some starters that are Ravens. For example, Orlando Brown. He's a 92. He came out today. Got him. Put him at right tackle. So he's going to be my starting right tackle. And I also have Andre Smith. They're both right tackles, so that's a good thing. For tight end, I have 3 different Ravens tight ends. Well, I have Raven Kims, because Darren Waller is actually a Raider now. But I have Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, and Nick Boyle at tight end. And I have Willie Snead is the receiver representing for Baltimore. And he's about the best one they have on the game. Brown is pretty good in real life. He should be getting an overall boost, but he doesn't have one yet. Kyle Juszczyk has an 87 overall. He had an 85, but with the different chems that I put on him, he actually went up to an 87, which was good because I had Mike Allstott there, who was a 92, and that one was a hard decision to make. I don't always use a fullback though, so that was actually one that I could actually end up making. But like I said earlier, Lamar Jackson is a 90. I've had Mike Vick. I've had Dan Marino. I've had Aaron Rodgers. All 3 of them were starting. But for the theme team, I went back to Lamar Jackson. RG3 is the second string quarterback. Barry Sanders, some of you all may know and some of you all may not. Barry Sanders can be picked. You can pick any team and put Barry Sanders on it. So I actually Sanders into a Raven on this. So he gives me a Ravens boost. Raheem Mostert, who's a 49er now, but he also was on the Ravens team, and Mark Ingram is also a current Raven. As some of you all see, Mostert is over Ingram, but Mostert is a lot faster than Ingram. And in Madden, for right now especially, speed is the name of the game. Mari Cooper is my third wide receiver. Tyrone Calico is my first wide receiver. And Andre Johnson is actually a Raven on this game. He's another player that can be chosen to put in on any team. So he and Barry Sanders are both Raven representatives on this team. If I click the button here, you see that most of the offense is blue. Most of the offense is blue. Blue represents the Ravens players or Ravens representatives that I have. And not bad. Not bad. I would love to get up to 50. And once Jonathan Ogden comes out, he'll take the place of Walter Jones, I'm sure. Then we'll be able to move up a little bit more. But until that time, this is going to be the offense for now. Defense made a move today. Hurt my heart a little bit. I put Eric Weddle in over Micah Hyde. Micah Hyde was a 93. Eric Weddle was a 92. I didn't want to do it, but again, I was so close to having 45, I went ahead and did it. One of the good things about the Ravens theme team is look at their secondary. Rob Woodson has played for the Ravens. Marcus Peters has played for the Ravens. Deion Sanders has played for the Ravens. Eric Weddle has played for the Ravens. Earl Thomas has played for the Ravens. They have a mean secondary. And this is even before Reed comes out. When Reed comes out, he's definitely going to be a starter as well. But the secondary for the Ravens is nasty. And that's pretty good to have when you're looking for a quality theme team. Another thing that I did just today, I put Zadarius Smith. I had Reggie White right here, but he was never playing over J.J. Watt, who's a 95. So I put Zadarius White right here to basically just keep a spot for me. Did the same thought process as I did with the offense. And Brandon Williams is a Raven. Leroy Glover, your captain card is going to be extremely important. Your captain card can actually get you 3 different team chems. So Leroy Glover is actually a Raven 3 different times, basically. And he got me 3 different chems. Calais Campbell, I had Richard Seymour here. I had Richard Seymour starting here. He was a 93 overall. Calais Campbell is comparable to Richard Seymour, especially in gameplay. He's a 90 overall. So I started Calais Campbell and Justin. I'm not even going to try to say his last name, but it's right there. And if you can't see it, just blow your screen up a little bit and get a little bit closer to it, because I'm not going to mess the man's name up like that. But he's also a Raven. Leroy Glover, he has the safest spot on the team. If nobody else is the player that when I should go to a 5-man front for someone running the ball or anything like that, I have three defensive tackles in the game. And Leroy Glover happens to be the third one that comes into the game. So we're pretty stacked right there. Secondary is nasty. Now, I did buy a card today that I'm thinking about subbing out for Numdy. There was a Sean Murphy Bunting, I believe, something like that. It's definitely starting now. It's because Sean doesn't have a power-up card yet. But it's coming out because the power-up bars are on it. Just have to wait for it to get it. Linebacker core. Adalius Thomas, Raven. Pretty good, too. I had LT starting right there, but when I got Adalius Thomas, he was comparable to him, so I moved LT. Elvis Dumerville was a Raven. Same thing. Pretty good player, so I had TJ Watt starting right there, but I went ahead and put him in that spot. Ryan Shazier is the only player that is a linebacker that is not Raven Kimmed. Sam Mills actually is one of the players that you can put on any team as well. So he's a Raven representative too. If you look at my strong safeties, I couldn't let go of Taylor Mays and Matthew. I have a tendency to put one or both of them in the sub Ravens to come out to put them in that position. I had a different punter. I had an 87 punter, but an 86 to 87, that's really not much of a difference. But the kicker, Justin Tucker is a great kicker, but he's no Morton Anderson. Morton Anderson had an 89 overall. I mean, had a 90 overall. And he also had the ability to have different abilities put on his card. And I had the slow down kick meter because I don't know if it's a problem for you all, but for me, when I'm playing the game, my kick meter is extremely fast. And I oftentimes miss it because it's going too fast sometimes and I can't keep up with it. And it has cost me 3 games, 1 weekend league. And that's unfortunate, but I had to go back to Justin Tucker because with a Ravens theme team. I also have Marquise Brown, who is probably just as good, if not better, than Willie Snead. But it's just, that's the way it is right now. I had to go back to Marquise Brown. I had to have Marquise Brown as my backup. And Chris Moore is a kick returner that I hope never gets any playing time, but he's the one that is in the game. And Jimmy Smith is another punt returner that I hope never has to return punts, but I just used him because he's another Raven. Specialist, that's nothing special there. Nobody is new. But another thing that I didn't know, John Harbaugh has the ability to have a team, and he has 10 different slots for your offense and defense. 5 for offense, 5 for defense. So if you have the training to do that, you can really maximize using your coach as well. So I was a 92 before the changes, and I'm a 92 again. So according to Madden, my team is pretty much the same. But there are some advantages to having a theme team. Some of the advantages to having a theme team are I haven't bought a pack all week. And when you have a God squad, you literally have to buy packs almost daily just to keep up with the changing players that are coming out. If you want to have the best players, you want to have the most up-to-date players, you have to buy packs almost daily. And that's what was going on. I was having to buy packs, and if I wasn't buying them, I was actually spending training on players. It was expensive. So I decided, hey, I don't have to do this. Let me go ahead and change. So that's one advantage to having a theme team. Another advantage is it increases most players on your team's chemistries. That's how I was able to face a 96 Deion Sanders, and I think it was a 96, maybe Rob Woodson. I don't know. But the reason for that is you get an additional speed and awareness when you hit 50 players, and that helps tremendously. Right now, Barry Sanders is at like a 93, but he will be increased when I can find 5 Ravens players to put on the team again. And so that's another thing that I'm looking forward to. Another advantage is you don't have to get as excited about buying packs because you don't have to have all of the newest players anymore. Only the players that I need now are those players that are going to upgrade those positions that aren't Ravens players. Other than that, everybody else is pretty much firmly set. I don't have to buy packs every day, so that's another good thing. Disadvantages that I've noticed from switching from a God Squad to a Ravens theme team one is the kickoff is completely different. Before, when I would kick off and you would try to return it, you would do wonders to even get to the 20 with the second win, with the kickoff team that I had running down. But now that I have these real players running down the field, it's Shazier is down there, and everybody else is behind him, looking at what he's doing. He's by far the fastest player, but the other players don't stand a chance of being there with him. Another disadvantage for going from a God Squad to the Ravens team, the kicker. I can't put Kim's on my kicker. The kicker doesn't kick the ball as deep on kickoffs. He's not as accurate. He's not as good as Morten Andersen. I guess that could have been fixed had I went with the Saints or the Vikings, but I went with the Ravens because they had a higher overall when I looked at Mudhead. That's a good thing as well. Another thing that a disadvantage from going from a God Squad to a Ravens team. The Ravens team is it's not as good. With the God Squad, if a player got tired, my second string literally had the highest rated players as well. So even when a player got tired, I still was able to have a dominant team because I just had first and second strings that were dominant. Now, if a player gets tired, I have to push time out because you have weak spots that you have to fill. If you are playing with a lot of defensive corners or secondary players, one of the problems will be when you have your secondary out there, especially if it's a passing team, and they do have to make sure that you're keeping up with everybody because that's just the way it is in Madden. If you don't keep up with them, or even if you're in zone, they still get extremely tired. So when you run across that, you mess around and get a player that's subbed in that's like an 84 or 86 or something, probably he liable to get burnt running against Cooks. So you have to be extremely careful with that. That's another thing. If I had to do it all over again, I probably still would. I'm only 5 players away from getting that overall speed and awareness boost. But I'm going to take you all to my graveyard / my item binder and show you where so much talent is right now. And when I'm done shooting this video, I'm definitely going to go and put these players on the auction block. I'm tired of seeing them in the item binder. That hurt my feelings a little bit when I open my item binder and see it. So Reggie White's going to be gone. Bo Jackson's going to leave. Brandon Cooks, Micah Hyde, Morten Andersen, Mike Allstott, TJ Watt, Richard Seymour, Byron Jones, Lane Johnson, Tony Gonzalez, Jerome Bettis, Myles Garrett, Christian McCaffrey. I'm going to keep Murphy Bunting because I'm waiting on that power to come. Merlin Olsen, Dante Hall, Ndamukong Suh, Linval Joseph, Yannick Ngakoue. This Elvis Dumerville. I have another one that's already powered up. I guess I pulled this one. This was my punter, Johnny Hecker, Kyle Williams, Takeo Spikes, Reggie Wayne. I pulled that the other day. I forgot he was here. Khalil Mack, David Deal. Want to keep that Ezekiel Elliott, Minka Fitzpatrick, Jason Kelsey, this TJ Watt, this Aaron Rodgers, this Odell Beckham, Shaquille Barrett. All these players are just, and now the only thing I'm going to keep, I keep all power-ups. You never know when a player is going to get hot. Like George Kittle definitely should have received an upgrade after the game he had on Sunday. I mean, the man went off, had like 150 yards receiving. I don't understand why he didn't get a power. I mean, why he didn't get an upgrade. But hey, that's EA. But he had an outstanding game, and I'm just going to keep all of the power-ups to make sure that just whenever they hit, because I've also learned that players get a great card. Power-ups are more expensive than the regular card. So I'm going to make sure I keep all power-ups for that very reason. And with that in mind, just keeping all these players and making sure that I can make the right decisions and come at you all aggressively in weekend league. But with no further ado, God Squad to Theme Team, is it worth it? Not really. It's just something to do. It's a way to save money from a God Squad. It's also a way to, if I was a Ravens fan, it would also be more beneficial. But I'm actually a Broncos fan. Ravens just had one of the highest overalls in terms of Mudhead, so I went with Ravens because it was easier to plug and play with their players. So it's really not worth it. It actually will probably be in your best interest to keep a God Squad if they aren't going to make any more updates. But as of now, I'm going to keep the Ravens team, and after I get off of this video, I'm going to sell the other players and probably end up having about 5 million in coins or a lot of training if I don't feel like putting them on the auction block. One of the two is about to happen. So no further ado, have a good one.